Welcome back, guys. My name is Chris Elliott with Remax Action Real Estate, giving you another segment in our COVID-19 coronavirus segments, whatever we are calling this. I've got the amazing Kelsey Arcenia here today. Kelsey is not only a client of mine, she's also a fourth grade teacher in the Colonial Heights school system. And you are stuck at home with a lot of other folks.
Yeah,
so what we wanted to do today was to talk about, guys, what you can be doing with your kids. Kind of talk about some of the things that are maybe coming down the pipe in your school system. Obviously, everyone is different, but just basically equip you guys with some tips and some tools to help during this time. So, Kelsey, I'm going to shut up because I know nothing about any of this. Kelsey, I know real estate pretty good, but that's not it.
I'm not an expert in this either. So, I can give my side of what I'm seeing, but I'm not an expert either. So.
Okay. All right. We'll stumble through it together then. All right. So I know every county is different. What has your school done, or what are you seeing coming down the pipe, at least for you guys, with the kids being out of school for the remainder of the year?
Well, it was a little crazy the Friday that it all took place. But the school system was pretty awesome. They came together and we sent home Chromebooks from all of our third graders to 12th graders. We also really quick in like an hour grabbed any materials we could to send home with the kids. They have still been making packets for the K through 2 students, kindergarten, first, second grade, because they don't have Chromebooks to take home.
When you say packets, is that just like folders of information?
Yeah, like material that's like review. Of course, it'd be pretty unfair to give any new material right now. It sounds like that might be changing. But I guess while they're trying to get everybody on the same page in the houses, because everyone doesn't have the same thing at home, they're at least trying to give packets to the students who don't have internet access.
Cool.
But so third grade through 12th grade, we kind of got to choose our platform of either Google Classroom or Schoology. And personally, I have already been using Google Classroom, so I just went with it. We continued with Google Classroom. Most teachers, we have like a daily meet, very similar to this.
What is, I'm gonna stop you real quick, just for somebody, and unpackage that, for somebody that doesn't know, what is Google Classroom? I'm familiar with it, but
so it's literally like an online classroom. So it looks similar. Part of it looks similar to Facebook, where there's like a news feed kind of called the Stream. And that's where I'll just post updates. There's another page that has classwork, and that's where I will post assignments. I can schedule due dates. And then along with Google Classroom, there's Google Meet. And that's what most of us have been utilizing the most, which is almost the same thing as Zoom or FaceTime. So it's live, face-to-face. I'm meeting with my students. I'm talking to them. I'm explaining some concepts if they're confused on something, but I'm not teaching new material because I have multiple students in my classroom who don't have internet access, at least not yet. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of cool because I still get to talk to my students and see how they're doing and try to make this as normal for them as possible, because it's not normal right now. And the last thing we want is these kids to be scared and think that their normal routine is completely gone. Yep. So we're at least trying to be there. And while I can't do a lot of teaching, I'm at least trying to make it personable and fun.
Sure.
So, the other day they asked for a home tour. So I'm like, sure, let's go. Here's, and I like walked them through the house, and, I think they were a little surprised I don't live at school, so I have a house.
It took me like 5th grade to figure that one out. So
yeah, so that's pretty fun. And then, as you probably know, we're in the middle of painting our shutters and our front door in our house. So I actually posted the camera up, my computer up outside yesterday, and let them like watch how I do it, because some have probably never seen that before, and just trying to give them some real life experiences outside of a worksheet. Pull that worksheet out I gave you. Let's go over it. I don't want this to be a bad experience for them. I don't want them, they will forever remember this time period for sure.
I think we all will.
Yeah, and I don't want their memory of this to be this horrible, rigorous online experience that they never want again. I want it to be something that, they can connect with me with and be excited for school to come back, but also enjoy signing on every day to talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's such a benefit. I interviewed, I don't know when this one will air, but I interviewed a gym owner the other day, and we were talking about just that, keeping the same routine. It helps because it keeps things normal. It just keeps people on track. Are you still yelling at the kids to sit down and stop picking your nose?
Well, I can't be like, oh, who's going to have silent lunch, but no, but I was like, guys, if we're not going to be quiet, I can't mute you. So I had to threaten the mute. And then I do have a little competition going on with some of my students where I told, originally the plan was going to be, I was going to order lunch for the top 4 or 5 kids that did the most work.
Nice.
It wasn't mandatory. They weren't going to be punished, but the kids who went above and beyond, I was going to order lunch for them. But now that school's canceled, I said, well, once things clear up, I can always have food delivered to your house, or, I could get Starbucks and put it in your mailbox, Right. So I'm trying to reward them with the more positive points of it than, sit down, be quiet, because that's not the case. I think the problem is probably more the siblings in the background who think it's really cool and want to pop in,
Sure.
Which I get because Gavin and Emery typically join me. And
Sure.
I'm like, hey, thank you, love you, bye.
Yeah. Get out of my way. You'll notice I'm at the office right now. Nobody's within 6 feet, but working at home is
it's tough.
Yeah. Kind of going off the script a little bit here, but I'm just curious from your perspective, and I'm starting to ask this question, and it's been interesting, the responses that I'm getting. What do you see as the positives out of this experience, but also what do you see hey, these are probably the changes that are going to cascade even after this thing ends based on the collective experience that we're all having now? I've got some ideas, but I'm curious from your perspective, in your world, what that looks like.
Well, of course, all of my opinions are not going to be anything that I've heard, because honestly, I've heard next to nothing. What my parents know, are my students' parents, are the same thing I know. So this is not coming from where I work, but positives. So I think that this
statement is not endorsed by Colonial.
Not endorsed by anybody but me. Positives, I think that it's really cool to see that not only the students, but the teachers can be flexible, just seeing how we can be flexible and continue education outside of the school.
Yep.
Which is honestly really cool because, I think sometimes education is left to just teachers sometimes. And there are so many things that can be taught at home.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be in the classroom, which I think is why homeschooling is becoming as big as it is, because I don't think people realize you don't have to be in the walls of a school to get work done.
Sure.
Another positive, I think, is you're really seeing the community come together. Later today, we have a teacher parade we're going to do. All the teachers at our school are driving down every single street that our students live on. And so we're just going to be hanging out the window. Hey, don't come near us, but we love you. We miss you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think it's really making community great. Yeah. I also think it's really putting us in 2020. I just told Justin the other day, I feel like I should maybe get this. This should be named after me. Okay. I need to patent this idea. So now I'm kind of thinking on top of my personal sick days and my sick days, I feel like I could now, why not? Why can't there now be the option of a work from home day? If Gavin or Emery have pink eye and I can't send them to daycare, but I can't come to work.
Right.
So I feel like now we need to be giving these 2 days a year where we could teach from home. It's not counted against us. I just don't know what they would do with my students yet. That's the problem I'm still trying to figure out. But I'm it would be really great if instead of me taking sick time, I'm still working, but I'm working from my computer. So I think it's really going to I think this is going to show everybody we really could change the future of education. It doesn't have to be in a building every day.
Yeah.
Now some cons to it, a lot of us are extremely fortunate that we have wonderful homes, wonderful families, loving parents. Not all kids have that. Yeah. And so I know a lot of people, you see some stuff on social media that some kids unfortunately right now are probably in the worst place they could be at home. School was their safe place.
Yeah.
And so I think most of us can't even comprehend that because we didn't come from that. You know, we see that from some of our kids. And so it breaks our heart to think what some kids are going through. Also a huge con, which I'm seeing right now, is we can't make the kids do the work. You can't force them. You can't make them. You know, as of right now, nothing's even graded. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, because if only half my class is getting online, does that mean only half my class is prepared for 5th grade?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the answer to that is, besides the parents making it mandatory and making sure it's a priority at home.
Yeah.
Which then goes back to, but do they have internet access? You know, and it's not always the parents being competent enough to teach the material. That's not what, to my knowledge, that's not what anybody's asking.
Yeah.
But it is the parents being role models enough and start enough and saying, this is a priority and this is going to come before video games or before whatever it may be. But I also understand another loophole is that some parents are still working. And so the kids are home by themselves. Yeah. And some of my kids, their parents don't even speak English. And I don't even know that they know what's going on in America right now. So there's definitely a lot of cons to this that I think people are trying to figure out. It's definitely the first stages, but I like to think that in a couple of years, this could be something that's like a great turning point for education.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said earlier, and it's funny. So I interviewed an attorney the other day, and she basically said the same thing in a different way. But like, this is all forcing us into the future of like, before maybe you had the choice to not embrace technology. Now it's you have to embrace technology. So I think it's going to be interesting. Of like, you know, it's gonna. I was thinking in 2030, all the kids are just gonna have the Oculuses, and they're gonna be like standing.
It's gonna be like VR headsets.
Yeah,
Like, hey, Miss Arcenia, you know, let me go make my lunch choice.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's cool. So we talked about some of those things, and from what I understand, your school district, once again, it's different, but your school district, you said they're having a meeting on, you know, so we're recording this on Friday the 27th. They're having a meeting on Monday. It sounds like everybody's just kind of like figuring out like, this came quick. So it feels we're all figuring out like what's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel bad over like the last week. I've emailed my parents and been like, hey, I'm teaching Monday through Friday. Oh, I can't teach. Hey, I'm going to review. Oh, I can't do that. I'm going to be meeting at this time. I can't meet. Like, it's been so crazy that I'm trying to slow down on my communication with them because we're all so overwhelmed still. That I am just trying to make this as easy as I can. Monday, my building in general has a meeting on Zoom. So I'm curious to see what the update will be. I'm not really sure. But there was one little comment made from the superintendent on the phone calls that was made, stating that buildings are closed. You know, school is not, buildings are.
I like that.
And that really made me think, you know, that doesn't mean like close your computer, we're done till September. That's not the case.
Yeah.
We're still going to be learning. We're still going to be doing material. I'm just not sure how yet. And that I think is going to be communicated on Monday.
Yeah. That's like the gyms are closed, but working out is still
exactly
still on. Yeah. So guys, I mean, as you can see, our teachers, our superintendents, our government officials are still figuring this out. So if you're a parent at home with small kids or with big kids, like, we get it. It's a stressful time. You're probably like wanting some answers, but just give a little grace to the teachers, because a lot of times you guys are getting handed down the same information that, you know, at the same time that y'all are, or as we are. But anyway, so all that being said, kind of wrapping up here, Kelsey, what are some things you mentioned? There was a handful of things that you wanted to go through of like what parents can be doing to kind of help their kids through this time.
Yeah, so I think there are a few things that really can be adapted to any age level. So I'll say there are 5 things. So we'll try to remember those 5. The first thing is to cook with your kids. Like, I know this sounds so simple, but this could be huge.
My wife likes this one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're teaching them how to cook. One day I'm going to be like, Gavin, it's your turn on Fridays, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a great opportunity for measurement. You can teach them how to add and subtract anything, fractions. You could teach them how to convert things. Like I always teach my kids this little like movement that's teaspoon, tablespoon, because there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So teaspoon, tablespoon, cup, pint, quart, liter, gallon, all these like little things that the kids know. And if you just put it into the kitchen, it could go crazy. I mean, high schoolers, chemistry, teach them what different like things in your pantry can do.
Yeah.
Problem solving. Oh my gosh, I need 1 3/4 cup of flour, but I only have 1/4 cup measuring cup. What can I do?
Right.
Unfortunately, some kids think you can't do anything.
Sure.
So teach them problem solving. And then the fun side is you can be so creative with cooking. So that's my first thing is cook with your kids.
Okay. Cook with the kids.
Cook with the kids. Second thing is read, and you can't go wrong in any scenario here.
Yep.
Model reading to your kids. There are some times, I put this on social media one time, that I was so into Harry Potter because my students, I had a bet going on with them that if I didn't finish it, they could pie me in the face. So I was like making it a point to read Harry Potter, and I got so into it that the kids walked into the living room one day and I was reading a book. And they literally went, it like made me tear up, teacher mom. They went to the playroom and got a book and sat on the couch and did the same thing. They couldn't read it, obviously, but
Right.
It's just modeling.
Yeah.
They do it, they will do it. They will want to be that. So model reading, let them read to you, read a story with them. And it could be like, start off with something really short. I'm not saying go get a chapter book and like break records. That's not the case.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Googling things like getepic.com. It's a free online resource, kind of like Netflix, but for books. There's Learning A to Z. They have free membership right now. Also, a lot of people aren't thinking about this, but your public library and your school library, for the most part, have digital books. So you can sign online and get books if you don't have any in your house.
Okay.
And then I will be the first to admit, I have been so annoyed. This is not sponsored. I've been so annoyed by ABC Mouse commercials that I finally just looked into it and downloaded it. And right now there's a code. If you Google the free code for like COVID-19, it's free right now while schools are closed. Yeah. And it's amazing. I don't know why I haven't downloaded it before. I'm watching Abbott and Emory, and it's like spot on their level. I mean, it's cool. So check out ABC Mouse. Okay. All right. Third thing, anything with money. Teach your kids how to find the cheapest thing in a newspaper.
I'm liking this. You got my attention.
Anything with money. I mean, whether it's like, hey, I mean, of course, items are selling like crazy, but like, who has the cheapest toilet paper? And let's say it's $19.15. If I give you a 20, how much change do you get back? And if you're right, you can keep it for your piggy bank. Whoa. So like teaching them these skills with money, adding, subtracting, rounding. If I was going to go spend $21.19, is $21 enough? So talking about that rounding part of it, encouraging them with like, if you can get this right, you can keep the change. Of course, like not everyone can do that, but that it really encourages the kids to care. So money, that's the third thing.
Okay.
Fourth thing, take care of yourself because your kids are watching. And if your kids are watching you sitting around stressing out, they're going to feed off that energy. If you are just sitting on the couch, Netflixing, we all are, but like in the right times, So being the person that's taking care of yourself, your kids are going to watch you do that. Yeah. Find time to work out. Find time to like make a healthy meal and just enjoy it and talk about why it's healthy. Yep. Those things are so important. Meditate and let your kids watch you. You might feel stupid the first couple times, but then they might literally think it's cool and want to do it with you. And then you will all reap the benefit of that. Mm-hmm. I think that if we could teach our children at any age the importance of health, this is the time when there is something structured around health. Yep. This is the time to do that. And we are all, for the most part, stuck at home. So this is the perfect time to channel into yourself. And none of us have the time to decompress right now because we're a mom from sun up to sundown. Yep. So even if it's like early morning or once the kids are in bed, find some time for yourself because you cannot pour from an empty cup.
And I love that. Let me ask you, Kelsey, because you are a teacher. Your husband works. You guys have a water heater installation business. So Inside joke. I shouldn't have said it. You've got 3 kids under the age of
4.
4.
Under
3
4.
kids under
3 kids under 4.
Yeah, so that you're a little busy.
Yeah.
You're having to work from home. Is Justin having to work from home?
No, he can't. I wish, but no.
Does he work from?
He's a police officer, so he's like in his everything. You know.
So he's outside of the house. When do you make the time to work out? And this is completely sidebar, but I'm trying to eliminate excuses of like I can't.
I'm like, Justin's always joked with me and said I'm like a cutthroat. I should have been like a drill sergeant because in my mind, there's no excuse. Like I see friends who are on their couch at like 12 o'clock at like lunchtime. And I'm like, how? I have dishes and laundry and I really need to mop the floor because someone spilled something and it's sticky. My dogs need a bath. You know, it's always something.
Who threw up? Yeah.
Seriously. And then someone's butt needs to be wiped. I mean, it's always something, always. So I have
don't be talking bad about Justin on this.
I'm teaching him. Okay, we're getting there. So I either wake up before the kids are awake and I work out before, or like last night, Justin and I both went to the garage at 9:15 at night. The kids were finally in bed. Dishes were put away. You know, we finally got all the shutters put back in the garage in case it rained, and we worked out. And it was a 40-minute workout. And it was so fun to laugh together and joke and just try to relieve some of the stress of everything going on outside of our home and inside of our home.
Yep.
Today I worked out at like 10 o'clock. The kids joined me. I'm going to put it on social media later. Gavin's doing push-ups while I'm doing squats. And, you know, they don't always come work out with me, but they often say, and I'm not acting like I'm in good shape, but they are often like, yeah, mom's got big muscles because she works out. And I'm like, you know, to think that they're even picking up on that. I hope that it's normal for them to take care of themselves when they're older because they saw Justin and I do that.
Well, yeah, it goes back to that modeling conversation of maybe they can't even work out right now, but they know mom and dad work out. They know that's something that I should be doing. And hey, if that hasn't been a habit for you or something in your schedule, now is a great time to make that, make the time for it. We all need the stress release with times like this. So
I have a 5th point, Chris. 5th point.
Finish up.
5. Okay, 5th point.
Don't want to cut you off.
5th point. This is just the perfect time for teachers to tell you parents, this is the most ideal time for you to create a well-rounded kid. You know, at home, teach them kindness, talk to them about forgiveness and empathy, talk to them about patience and being generous, because these are character traits that can be so influenced in school by other people, and you finally have them away from those people, and you can create this perfectly molded child. This is time to do it. This is the time where you can pour into your kid as much as you can if your cup is full. Take care of yourself first, you know, and this is just the perfect time to do that. I think that teachers have so much material to teach. I often say we just skim the top of everything we teach. We struggle to find the time to make these real world connections to the material we teach. And so if you now can do that for us, it would make your kids' education way more rich and such a deeper version than what we could do in the building. So if you see us doing something, like piggyback off of it in the kitchen, and I'll be the first to tell you, if I don't know what I'm doing as a teacher, I Google, I like YouTube, so you can do the same thing. You don't have to have the teacher giving you permission. I can't imagine if we do start teaching, it's not going to be a lot of information. It's going to be skimmed versions. So take that opportunity to go deeper with that if you can at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've survived as a human race for many 1,000 of years without a formal education system in the last couple hundred. So you can do it at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kelsey, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you jumping on this call. We appreciate not only what you're doing now, but what you do day in, day out with your profession. Thank you to Justin. Any parting thoughts, anything you want to leave with the audience before we hit the end call button?
I would just say, parents, you are a parent. You are called to be a parent. And being a role model is the biggest thing you can be for your child right now. So that is enough. You don't need to try to be a teacher. You don't need to try to be, a principal. You don't need to do that. Don't scare them into education. Be mom, be dad, be grandma, be whoever you are, be their role model. And that will get them further than any lesson on the computer could teach them right now. So I think that's more important than anything. And 2030, they will remember you and how you acted right now, and not that one math video their teacher made them watch.
Sure.
So I think that's the biggest thing any parent can take away from this.
Yeah. Small eyes are watching, as my wife says.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead, hit the bell, subscribe. We're going to be bringing you more of these interviews for the indefinite future until we're, assuming the zombie apocalypse doesn't start. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.